downtown Fayetteville. ABC 11 Eyewitness News continues.
Chopper 11 HD over breaking news in Durham. We've learned a 4-year-old boy was stabbed at home.
New overnight, a car goes up in flames on Raleigh's Capitol Boulevard. Police tell us within the hour they figure out what happened.
Also, surprising new information this morning about a North Carolina teacher accused of setting a school gym on fire. Good morning, Carolina. Welcome on this Wednesday, February the 26th. It's 37 degrees now at 6:30. I'm Barbara Gibbs.
I'm John Clark. Thank you for tuning in. More on the big stories coming up.
But first, meteorologist Don Schwinnaker is in the First Alert Storm Center. Good morning.
And good morning to you both. And we are starting off this Wednesday morning with a little bit of snowflake activity going on in our northern counties. Live look on First Alert Doppler XP, the most powerful radar in the Carolinas right now. And you can see the snowflakes up around northern Warren County, just sliding out of Mecklenburg County, up around Virginia. Also a couple of sprinkles in northern Moore County to the south. We'll zoom in Norlina with a little bit of snow shower activity. Throw this into motion real quick. It is tracking off to the east, and it's just light, but you may see some flurries up there along the Virginia border. Let's look at the day ahead, and by lunchtime we see the clouds starting to break and temperatures falling through the 40s, 43 degrees. Then as we go into the afternoon, more clear skies across the region and temperatures staying in the 40s, and it's going to get cold tonight with those clear skies. We'll talk about that with your complete forecast. That's coming up in just a bit. John and Barbara.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you. Well, Eyewitness News is on the scene of breaking news in West Durham. A child is stabbed in a home.
We have learned that the victim is a 4-year-old boy. Anthony Wilson is live on Glasson Street, and he brings us the latest on this. Anthony, good morning.
Morning, John. I've been talking to a neighbor here who's given us some interesting information I'm going to share with you momentarily. But first, another look at the way this scene appears from the air. Chopper 11 checking you out the action down here. You see there are still a lot of police officers here. They got the call around 5 o'clock this morning, and the neighbor I've spoken with has told me that the boy apparently lived here along with his toddler, possibly 9-month-old sister. Both these children were here with the grandmother, according to the neighbor we spoke with, because the mother has been ill lately. She has apparently been in the hospital with some sort of an ailment. That said, no telling now whether or not that younger child was here in the house. Back live, you see there are still officers here. We do know that at least one child, the 4-year-old boy, was taken to Duke Hospital. He was cut, apparently. Now, the whereabouts of the grandmother who lived here with that child, at least one child, unknown. Police are still here. They're not talking about what they have found or whether anybody else is still inside the apartment. We are working to get information about what's happening here confirmed. All we can say for sure now, it's been confirmed by police, that the 4-year-old boy was taken to the hospital. He was cut. His condition unknown. We'll bring you more when we get it, John and Barbara.
Anthony Wilson live in Durham. Thank you. New overnight, our camera captured flames erupting from this car on Capitol Boulevard after it crashed. And right now, Raleigh police say they finally know what happened here. Angelica Alvarez is live on Capitol Boulevard this morning with the details. Good morning, Angelica.
Good morning, Barbara. First, I want to mention this in no way affects your morning drive if you're headed out to the Capitol and Fenton area this morning. And as you mentioned, yes, police are starting to figure out what happened. They are talking to the driver. They found him at his house, actually, after he left his car and left it to do this. Take a look at this video. Our crew was on scene right after. You can see the flames just filling up that car. Police were forced to close down a portion of Capitol for just a short time after all this happened at 2:30 this morning to clean that mess up. Now, police tell me the driver, whose name they are not releasing at this time, was driving along when he hit a tree. He then left the scene and his car went up in flames. Police say the driver had several warrants out on him, but they tell me he will most likely not face any charges for this incident. Now, what exactly caused him to crash into that tree is still under investigation this morning. John, Barbara, back to you.
Thank you, Angelica. Testimony resumes this morning in the trial of a Johnston County man charged with torturing a 4-year-old girl to death. Yesterday, jurors heard dramatic testimony from an emergency room nurse who became enraged when she saw that child's injuries. Amber's here now, and she has more. Amber?
Well, John, that nurse telling the jury she was overcome with rage and adrenaline when she saw Tegan Skiba's injuries when the accused killer took the girl to the ER. Jonathan Richardson is charged with torturing and killing Tegan in 2010 while he was supposed to be babysitting her while her mom was away for military training. Registered nurse Mary Allison Butler says she immediately knew something was was wrong when Richardson brought Skiba into the ER. And when she confronted him, she says he took off running, so she took matters into her own hands.
He was just going to leave, so I took off after him, and I chased him down. So I come around the corner and jumped on him. I tried to rip his esophagus out.
She was very emotional. Nurse Butler told jurors her anger got the best of her when police finally arrived, telling them to give them her gun so she could do what needed to be done. Those were her words. You can hear more of her testimony on ABC11.com. And today, jurors will hear from a police officer who will describe the crime scene. Barbara?
Amber, thank you. New details about a drama teacher charged with setting a school on fire in Alamance County. Investigators say 28-year-old Michael Shannon panicked when a small fire broke out backstage during a rehearsal, but that fire was quickly put out. When the fire alarm went off, police claimed that Shannon used linens and an accelerant to start a second fire. No one was hurt. Investigators say he told his students to lie about what happened.
St. Augustine's University is making it official. The Raleigh school will start to furlough people next month. The university will furlough employees starting March 9th and will reopen March 17th. A recent audit revealed a $3 million decline in tuition revenue and major accounting issues. University officials tell us the furloughs are not the complete solution, but they're doing what's necessary to offset federal and state cuts.
It is 6:36, 37 degrees. Time for weather and traffic together. Don, good morning.
And good morning to you, John and Barbara. Good morning to you. Let's take a look at what's happening as you head out the door this morning. You'll see a lot of clouds. You may even see some snowflakes around the Virginia border. May see a sprinkle down in Moore County. Still cold. Temperatures running in the 30s through 9 o'clock. Current numbers from across the region this morning right now running in the 30s. 34 as you head out the door in Roxborough and Oxford. 33 Roanoke Rapids. 35 Rocky Mount. 36 Chapel Hill. 36 Smithfield. 35 Sanford. Still around 40 down in Fayetteville. We look at your day ahead. We start off with the cloud cover temps in the 30s. By lunchtime, 43 degrees. I have a sprinkle around. That would be mainly from the Sand Hills south and east. That's your best chance at seeing a sprinkle or a light shower. As we go into the afternoon, though, the skies start to break. We see more sunshine moving in, and temperatures start to drop. By 5 o'clock, we're in the low 40s. We'll talk more about that coming up. Let's talk weather and traffic together this morning. For that, we bring back Amber Rupinta and First Alert Traffic.
Volume picking up just a little bit. It's about that time. So we take a quick peek outside. 40 at the US 70 Clayton bypass. Johnston County commuters can start preparing for that delay that always starts to form at this hour at the merge. Those taillights headed westbound, so give yourself a few extra minutes to get through that. In Durham County, I-85 at Duke Street still looking very nice. No major, or Guest Road, excuse me, 85 at Guest. Both directions, north and southbound 85 still moving fine. So watch for that accident in North Johnston County and Central Wendell, Selma Road at 4th Street near Wendell Road. John, Barbara?
Amber, thank you.
6:37 now. New developments in the case of a well-known drug lord captured in Mexico.
Coming up on Eyewitness News, find out why the man known as El Chapo won't be extradited for now.
Also ahead, new details this morning about the arrest of a former UNC basketball star who's now an NBA player.
Today's First